This episode of Says Who is brought to you by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho. That's our Patreon, where pretty much every Sunday you get this all over again. You get me and Maureen doing just this, but for you, because you gave it the $5 or $10 a month level. That $10 a month level also gets you a sticker in the mail because you become a member of the Says Who Sticker Club. What a great club that is. Your next sticker is real in process, I'm sure. Soon. Great stuff. Anyway, patreon.com/sayswho.
Next week, y'all, I think it's next week. Maybe it's the week after. I'll be attending the Edgar Awards ceremony.
Yeah.
Where Death at Morning House is one of, they just got my certificate, so I sent it out to be framed as a nominee for best YA, best young adult mystery. The Edgars is the one that really, because I love mystery so much, it's the one I was like, oh, I'd love to win it. I mean, I won't.
Does everyone dress up all creepy for it?
Yeah, you have to wear spiders in your hair.
Yeah, it should be real gothy.
Dan, I have to put on tight shoes and go to 2 receptions before the reception.
I mean, I'll remind you that you own shoe stretching liquid.
I know, but these are not for, because then your feet will fall out of the high-heeled mules.
Oh, okay.
They'll just go, woo, and they'll go right through, and then you'll have shoes around your knees. I think that's how shoes work.
Mm-hmm. That is.
But I have to go to 2 receptions before an actual reception and make small talk.
You're good at that.
Am I?
Yes.
Are you?
No.
I think you are.
Nah, I'm not.
I walk in talking. I'm like, where's the mini veggie burgers?
Yeah, exactly.
One time I went to a book party, Jennifer Weiner's book party, and she had it up on this really, really high, like penthouse. Yeah. And they made mini sliders and mini fries. And then you got your little mini sliders.
Are mini
and
sliders
fries.
Just sliders, or are they smaller than sliders?
I guess they're just sliders. These were pretty tiny.
Okay.
They were freakishly adorable.
Aww.
And you could have like a bunch of them.
I like a good tiny food.
And they had one of those glass balconies where you stand on it and you look straight down like 60 stories.
Nope.
I just kind of climb on those nervously and then back off.
No, thank you.
No, I
like the floor was glass?
Yeah, it's one of those like fully tempered.
No.
Like it's an observation.
No.
Fully glass.
No.
So it looks like you're standing like,
not going to happen.
60 stories up and just straight down. I can feel my feet like kind of dropping out. Also, not for nothing, worst elevator ride in New York is Top of the Rock, where you have to pay $20 to ride the elevator. And then as you're going to go, look up. And then it goes, the ceiling is glass. And then it opens up and you see the whole shaft. And they show a movie on it as you're shooting up. Worst thing. Terrible. Don't look up.
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah. It's part of the ride. It's $20 to ride this elevator up. And then you stand on the platform.
But that's to also then get to the observation deck. It's not like then you get there and they're like, another 20, please, to come through this door.
No. You're allowed to stay up there. And I think now they have this ride when you get there that just sort of lifts you up.
Okay.
Like it's like just like they get you in a strap chair and they go whoop. And then maybe, I don't think they put you over the edge, but like you're on the edge and you can kind of.
This is horrible. I don't know. Who wants that?
I don't know. People that come to New York like to just go up high and look at stuff. It's the thing. Every tall building, they're like, we got to go right to the top. The only one that's worth doing is the Empire State because you feel like you're in a 1930s movie.
Right.
That's worth doing.
That makes sense.
But sorry, Death at Morning House.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're still slinging books here.
I forgot. And then September 16th. You're going to need it. It's going to be the fall. We'll have survived the summer, presumably.
Maybe.
And I think we've put the link up, but if you want signed copies that Jay and I will sign, personalized, you can pre-order them through Mystery Bookshop in New York. Jay and I will go down there as long as it takes and personalize. He draws in them. He draws skulls. Like he does a whole little thing. So they make great gifts if you're thinking ahead. Like, we will absolutely sign the ever-living fuck out of anything.
And pre-order, pay now while money still exists.
Yeah, I guess while books cost this much.
Yeah, lock in that price.
Lock in your price. You won't be able to get a gift for under $20 in the future, so do it now. We will do all the rest of the labor and make that a wonderful gift for you.
The pre-order link will be in the show notes that you are listening to right now. But if you want to order other books, you should absolutely order this book from the pre-order link. But other books, including other Maureen books, are available at kickbezosintheballs.org. That is our own little bookshop. And if you're buying things on the internet, you can always go to merch.sayswhopodcast.com, which is our merch store, or you can go to shop.dansinker.com, where I sell some patches and some stickers and some shirts. The internet has things for sale. It's the new slogan for the internet.
It's the new slogan for everything.
Well, I mean, short-lived. Soon, very little will be for sale.
Hey, sorry, it sounds like my doorbell. Can you hold on a second?
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
Thank you.
okay.
It's a package.
What's going on?
It's addressed to you.
Why
did they
was
send
it
it to
sent
me?
to you?
I don't know. Let me open it.
Okay.
Oh.
What? Huh?
It's a Webby Award.
We won.
It's a Webby Award.
We won.
Dan Sinker, Akila Hughes,
We
Rebel
won.
Spirit has won the Webby Award
Yeah.
for what?
For Rebel Spirit Podcast.
No, what was the category?
For this is easy to remember, the limited series podcasts, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging category.
Wow.
Yeah, but most importantly, we won thanks to all of your votes.
Yep.
And I mean, Maureen, I didn't doubt it for a second.
No.
Easy going.
Came through, absolutely crushed it.
Yep,
absolutely crushed it.
Never even broke a sweat.
How do you feel?
I feel good.
I mean, it's I feel like this was the thing we were hoping would like.
It's it. It's happened.
Now
everything's great now.
Oh, okay. So now that you got the thing.
Nothing's wrong.
Really?
Everything's perfect.
Wow. Do you feel calmer?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, definitely.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
This is the thing. If you win a thing, everything's great. That's why you're going to win an Edgar Award.
I don't think I am, but I will be wearing a dress. And I have to put in my order. I have to say, I'm a vegetarian, which means I will be given a plate of boiled vegetables, but that's all right. Vegetarian
anyway, we won.
Food. Dan, you guys nailed it. You deserved it. Thank you, Says Hoovia. Fuck
Y'all
yeah.
Turned up.
Well, now that everything's fixed, Says Who has been brought to you by you who helped Rebel Spirit win. There are no problems now. Nothing has been going on. What? Hold on. I'm just scrolling our notes.
Yeah, don't do that.
I have noticed that there's notes here.
A few.
So.
Should we do it?
Well, also, I would assume that at the very least, that means your personal life, like everything else, is like absolutely.
Yeah,
now
we'll get to that.
Dan, I'm confused.
Let's play the music.
Wait, was that our intro? Welcome to Says.
Yeah.
The podcast that's not a podcast.
It's a coping strategy. I am Dan Sinker.
And I'm Maureen Johnson, who didn't realize that we hadn't even gotten that far yet.
Yeah, you were like suddenly launching into the episode.
Yeah.
That was still just the introduction.
Nope. Yeah, I didn't do it right.
How are you, Maureen Johnson?
I think I'm good. I've had some good news this week that I can't discuss yet, but I told you, and it was really good news.
It was great news. Very exciting news.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's not, me being coy. It's like I can't, have to wait till I'm allowed to say, but it's all good.
It's great.
Writing a book.
It's good stuff.
Writing a book.
You are, in fact, writing a book.
We went to Central Park on Saturday because it was like a summer's day out. That's what we kind of do. Sometimes we're like, it's a beautiful day. We hop in a cab with the dog. We do have to take a cab because it is too far for us to walk.
Can you just grab any cab and they'll let a dog in, or do you
sometimes
call a dog cab?
You have to negotiate. They pull up and you go and you point. You go, and they usually go like, and you hold her, and she just sits on Oscar's lap and behave. She doesn't mind the car. She loves the park. Loves it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
We go all over. We walk that park. We go through the zoo. We go in. We go around we walk through the ramble. We do the ramble a bunch.
I've not been in Central Park in a long time. In fact, I mean, I think I've been since, but my most memorable Central Park moment was when the teen, who's about to not be a teen next week, was little. And we walked through Central Park in like November sometime, and we ended up at those little chess tables.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, he was into chess. Like I think he played chess in his elementary school team at that point. And we were playing chess, and suddenly a Korean travel television show walked up, and we're all, "Can we film you playing chess?" So we might be huge in Korea and never knew. Could be.
It's really full of little pockets of wonders. I mean, there is a whole ass zoo in there.
There is a whole ass zoo. It's great. Central Park. I have my quibbles with New York City, but Central Park is not one of them.
We have a zoo in there. We have a whole theater where you can, you have to wait in line, but people can get free tickets to see shows. It's got huge playing fields, fields to have sun on. People have picnics. There's a boating pond. There's like places you can get something to eat. And there's the Ramble, which is this really, it's all treed in. It's like walking through the woods. So it has like little soft trails there's a lot of climbing in Central Park. Also, just dynamite playgrounds for children, like really, really cool playgrounds for kids.
It's a good place.
So it's just one of those things where, it's worth taking the cab up. We don't have a car, so, we take the cab.
Yeah.
And we spend like 2 to 3 hours. The other day when things seemed terrible, we walked over and we got some tacos, and I had an amazing cucumber margarita. It was cucumber, mint, elderflower, and lime margarita.
Yeah, that's happening.
With the best guacamole I've had in a long time. And every bite I took, I said, this is the greatest bite. And then I take another bite, and another absolutely nailing it bite. Just appreciating the absolute hell out of everything. What's also nice is there are hospitals that look out onto Central Park as well, because I've had a friend that was a patient once. So that also provides like a nice space for like people that are in hospitals, and like it kind of provides space for everybody to kind of come at your level.
That's the whole design.
Yeah. And it's huge.
That's the whole idea. It's very big.
And it's, I guess...
That was the thing that I think the first time I ever went to Central Park, I was like, oh, this is much bigger than my mental model.
It's big.
Like, it's enormous.
It extends from 59th Street to 110th Street.
Yeah.
And how many streets over? It goes on 5th Avenue to... What's on the other side? On the west side. I forget what's on the west side. But it's... Oh, the art museum is basically in it. So the art museum is on 5th Avenue, but it kind of, its butt sticks into the park. So you can it's basically, you can walk right out of the park, of the hospital, the museum, the place with the art.
That's a place. Yeah.
How are you?
Art place.
Tell me about you.
I'm fine. I mean, I'm not going to brag. We won a Webby Award.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't worried about it or stressed at all.
So nailed.
Just walked our way into a Webby. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't easy. I was very stressed.
No, it was a very simple process.
But we won. Yeah. We won. It was great. That is great. Our house is a piece of shit.
What do you mean?
We've had yet another hole open up in our ceiling. Our ceiling is like a little, it's like little transports to other dimensions open up every now and then. So we've had a guy over here the last couple of days doing work, and it's very disruptive. It's in the little one's room, and that's thrown the little one off. And, I've had better weeks, I would say, except that we won a Webby Award. So that part's great.
Dan, what's going on with your ceilings?
It's just a very old house.
Right. Okay.
And it's all plaster. And 100-year-old plaster tends to get a little bit wibbly wobbly. This one, it appears, and he fixed this part too. It appears to have been a bit of moisture coming in from above. So
that bad?
Part seems to be fixed now. Yeah, it's not great. But he was like, it's very, very minimal. And then he went outside and he was like, oh yeah, you see that thing hanging down? Yeah, that's probably where the moisture is coming in. I'm like, oh, that's not supposed to look like that? Huh. Anyway, houses are great.
Okay. Well,
but that's how things are. They've been real best at times, worst at times situation over here.
All right. Well, how about the country?
Country's doing great. The country, I do feel we have had a number of weeks. I think we're just going to go right in because we got a lot to talk about. We've had a number of weeks where I will admit to not having want to talk about the news much because the news kind of sucks. And then there's a week like this where it feels like everything was just for us. I want to just start with actually a Rebel Spirit related thing before we get to the big news. Everyone knows what the big news is. We'll get there. But speaking of Rebel Spirit, the New York Times today has an article about Donald Trump entering the school mascot fray, voicing his support for the racist mascot, the Chiefs, of Massapequa, Long Island. According to the article, Mr. Trump this week homed in on a suburban hamlet on Long Island where the public school district is ensnared in a lengthy, bitter clash with New York state government over a mandate to banish its decades-old Chief logo, an illustrated side profile of a Native American man wearing a feathered headdress. More than 2 years ago, the state's education department required school districts to abandon mascots inspired by Native American culture or risk losing state funding. The ban led to a steep backlash across Nassau County, including in Massapequa, a middle-class swath of the South Shore, where most residents voted for Mr. Trump in the November election. Mr. Trump then went to the old Truth Social, demanding that Linda McMahon, quote, fight for the people of Massapequa on this very important issue. Forcing them to change the name after all these years is ridiculous and, in actuality, an affront to our great American Indian, or no, he just says our great Indian population. What could be wrong with using the name Chief? I don't see the Kansas City Chiefs changing their name anytime soon. Then he ended it in all caps, long live the Massapequa Chiefs. Now, two things here, Maureen.
Yeah, and I have a question.
I see it. Just wait. I see the question forming in your head.
Hold on.
But first of all, Akil and I have long insisted that if you want to understand what's happening in America right now, you need to listen to Rebel Spirit. And now it's like fully, again, completely true. This man has walked right into our own fucking episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But the other part, specific to my dog is barking. Says who?
She's saying the same thing I'm about to say. Massapequa sounds awfully familiar as a location.
Doesn't it, Maureen?
It does.
That's because Massapequa, Long Island, is the home of Chuck Schumer's imaginary family, the Baileys.
Dan, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the episode about the Baileys is the one I was like, nobody has to listen, but like, listen to the one about the Baileys.
Yeah.
Because that shit is still the craziest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
You know that the Baileys are walking around in fucking headdresses on game day.
100%. And then they're going for, what is it they eat? Nothing too spicy. They go to the Chinese restaurant and they have...
Oh, right. Well, I don't think he goes into detail on what the Baileys' favorite Chinese dish is, but they love Chinese food just like him.
Oh, they do. They do. Remember, they wouldn't eat anything as exotic as the chicken.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Just some steamed rice and chicken. Anyway, a little confluence of things, but Maureen, this week, I do feel like was made for Says Who. I want to just back up slightly to Easter Sunday morning and a report from the Associated Press that I'm going to just quote from. J.D. Vance met briefly with Pope Francis on Sunday to exchange Easter greetings after they got into a long-distance tangle over the Trump administration's migrant deportation plans. Francis, who is recovering from a near-fatal bout of pneumonia, received Vance in one of the reception rooms of the Vatican Hotel where he lives. The 88-year-old Pope offered the Catholic Vice President 3 big chocolate Easter eggs for Vance's 3 young children who did not attend, as well as a Vatican tie and rosaries. Quote, "I know you've not been feeling great, but it's good to see you in better health," Vance told the Pope. "Thank you for seeing me." According to the Associated Press, Maureen, Vance spent just 17 minutes in Vatican City total. But apparently, that was enough to fucking kill that man.
He killed that man.
He killed that man.
And I know we're all joking, but did he kind of kill that man? Where you have you have to meet with someone who is doing stuff that's so horrific and you know it. And you've said it. And you've been sick. And still, for issues of peace or politics, you are rolled out and forced to meet a man that you know is evil and you feel the weight of that evil. And then what, 7 hours later you die?
Just hours later. He didn't just die, he really died. He had a stroke, then was in a coma, then had irreversible cardiocirculatory collapse. That man died, and then died, and then died again.
Was it? And it was on Easter Sunday? 7 hours later.
He killed that man.
7 hours, yeah.
He spent 17 minutes in Vatican City. And 7 hours later, that man was dead. J.D. Vance killed the Pope.
You know, this really eclipses the Liz Truss, who was for a very short time, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Very short time. She got into office, she met the Queen, and the Queen died the next day.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, Liz Truss killed the Queen. But she didn't. But I actually do think J.D. Vance did in some way assist in the Pope's demise.
He killed that man.
Yeah.
Let's also not forget that the thing that the Pope did, because the Pope was in the hospital for a very long time and almost died in the hospital from pneumonia. And the thing that he did immediately before entering that hospital was send a letter to J.D. Vance saying, "You're not a good Catholic because you're fucking with immigrants."
Yes.
And then he immediately lands himself in the hospital. Finally gets out of the hospital. By all accounts, was doing better. J.D. Vance says, "Hey, I'm coming to fucking Rome. Let's meet up." Originally, they were like, "No, he's not going to do that. You can meet with some other dude." Then he was like, "No, I got to meet with the Pope." They finally agree. They wheel the Pope in. He gives him some chocolate eggs. He leaves and dies.
Imagine meeting someone who sucks so bad that you got to go and die about it.
Yeah.
It's become now my new, for example, this week I made a wish that Neil Gaiman would get a visit from J.D. Vance. And I'm not saying death. I'm saying when J.D. Vance visits you, he either say, "Hey, breaks your stuff," like that trophy, the football trophy.
Yeah. Which also happened this week.
Yeah. Or tries to steal your stuff, like goes to Greenland and says, "Can I have it?" And they say no, and then he leaves. He visits the Pope. And I just think his vibes are so bad that you have to be in really good shape to withstand them.
Yeah.
And I think his vibes are so bad, and the Pope was in bad health, that his bad vibes killed the Pope.
Yeah.
So,
Remember when Mike Pence was in the Capitol on January 6th and they were going to kill that man?
Yeah.
We have flipped the fucking script.
Yeah.
Now we've got a vice president.
So how often does he meet with Trump?
That's what I want to know. Can we get a one-on-one with him and Elon Musk? Is it possible? Can we get something on the calendar?
Or are they just so made of poison that,
I don't know.
they've been consumed?
When the Pope fell ill after writing J.D. Vance a letter, I reached out to a friend of mine who is like a practicing Catholic, and I was all, are we dealing with a Lucifer situation here? And he was like, no. And then Monday morning, I reached back out again. And I was like, okay, but really? And he was like, yes. He was like, this is full on Damien Omen territory now.
Yeah.
He killed that man
When you meet
on Easter Sunday.
If you see J.D. Vance in the road, you turn around, you go the other way.
Just unbelievable.
He's the bad vibes killer.
He killed that man.
He's the bad vibes killer. Just walks around. Remember that character in Peanuts that had a real bad smell, and so there was always like the little flies and stuff around? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like that with bad vibes. Just like a little cartoon J.D. Vance surrounded by glowing bad vibes.
That's true. That's true. Killed that man. He killed the Pope.
I mean, it's hard to argue it,
A lot of people liked that Pope.
Yeah.
And he killed.
As popes go.
Yeah.
Which is tough.
Yeah.
He had a lot of, not all, but the best positions certainly I'd seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I admit to having issues with how Catholic Church handles a bunch of things.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Widespread abuse.
Reasonable.
Lots of other things.
Yeah.
But he actually was trying to help people.
Yeah.
And was apparently pretty humble as popes
and then
go.
met with J.D. Vance and died.
We're the fucking worst.
Just the worst guy.
Yeah.
He walked out of that room and was like, you know what? That's it for me. I'm over this. I had to meet with that. I had to give him chocolate eggs for his children.
Yeah. It's genuinely, the weight of the terribleness of what's going on is very heavy.
Yeah.
And apparently the Pope seemed to have called every single night to Gaza.
Yeah, the Catholic Church in Gaza.
Every night.
Every night, including that night. That was as far as anyone knows, that was likely his last act before his meeting with J.D. Vance.
No.
He succumbed to those mortal wounds.
Yeah.
He killed the Pope. I don't even know. He met with the Pope, and then the Pope died. That's not an exaggeration.
No.
That's not fudging the facts.
Mm.
He met with the Pope, and then the Pope died.
Yeah.
It was the same news cycle.
Remember that guy just trying to order a donut?
He couldn't order a donut, and he couldn't not kill the Pope.
He couldn't hold a trophy. He couldn't go to Greenland and talk to anybody. We just thought that him breaking that football trophy was the funniest thing he'd do all week.
It turns out there was one funnier thing.
He didn't just kill the Pope. He killed the Pope on Easter.
On Easter.
Yeah. He insisted on meeting the Pope on Easter and killed that man.
He killed that man on Easter Sunday. Remarkable.
Yeah.
It's been, Maureen, a remarkable week for a lot of these fucking clowns.
Yeah.
Pete Hegseth
Sorry, that was a really weird laugh. It came out strange.
texted war plans to yet another group chat. According to the New York Times, he shared detailed information about forthcoming strikes in Yemen on March 15th in a private Signal group chat that included his wife, his brother, his personal lawyer, according to 4 people with knowledge of the chat.
Yeah.
Some of those people said that the information Mr. Hegseth shared on the Signal chat included the flight schedules for the FA-18 Hornets targeting the Houthis in Yemen, essentially the same attack plan that he shared on a separate Signal chat the same day
I just want to see.
that mistakenly included the editor of The Atlantic.
Yeah. So this was all, he just absolutely had his phone out that day and was like, just wasted and texting, right?
Yeah. So his wife, his brother Phil and Tim Parlatore, who continues to serve as his personal lawyer, they both have jobs in the Pentagon, which, we'll just brush over that for now.
Sure,
because I think it's a little strange
maybe a dick about
that his brother and personal lawyer have jobs at the Pentagon.
Dan, you got to stop being a dick about this. It's the coincidence.
His wife, in case you're wondering, well, he included his wife. At least he didn't include some journalist or something. His wife is a former Fox News producer. She is not a Department of Defense employee, but she has traveled with him overseas and drawn criticism for accompanying her husband to sensitive meetings with foreign leaders.
Dan.
So now let's recall that this man is on record having infidelities. So his wife just doesn't trust him at all. She's like, if you're going to be texting people, you're including me. Right?
Yeah.
If you're going to travel, I'm coming with.
She knows he's shady.
Yeah.
It's her shady ass husband.
Yeah. So anyway, he's just texting out all this shit. So this comes out. This comes just after basically his entire inner circle at the Pentagon. I guess his inner circle besides his brother, wife, and personal lawyer. If you're including your personal lawyer on the group chat, are you paying their hourly? Is that billable hours for the personal lawyer?
Yes. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
and they're rounding up on that one for sure.
6 minutes, call that an hour because it's got a 6 in it. So put a 0, it's an hour. I was on the phone for an hour.
So besides those 3, basically his entire inner circle has been fired or reassigned. That includes Joe Casper, his chief of staff, senior advisor Dan Caldwell, deputy chief of staff Darren Selnick, and Colin Carroll, the chief of staff to Deputy Defense Secretary Stephen Feinberg. So essentially there is nobody around Hegseth anymore at the Pentagon. There's a growing drumbeat calling on him to resign.
Why?
He's given a couple entirely normal and not at all unhinged statements to press where he tends to be sort of hopping on one foot and then the other and doing a lot of kind of talking.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. Where he blames the press itself for most of his troubles. Because you were wondering how the White House is doing with all this. The press secretary explains it, quote, "This is what happens when the entire Pentagon is working against you and working against the monumental change that you're trying to implement." Maureen, I don't know about you, but I think what you want from a head of the Department of Defense is the entire Pentagon working against you.
Is that a problem?
I think that might be a problem.
I mean, isn't?
Possibly. I think you would want at least some of the Pentagon working with you.
You don't need the whole thing.
But, you don't need the whole thing. There are 5 sides.
I will say, Dan, that this did elicit at least from the Democrats' official Twitter account,
Yeah.
a funny reply.
Okay.
They put out a tweet saying what he'd done. Pete Hegseth said like, "Oh, you're stupid," whatever. He made some stupid reply, and the Democrats apparently tweeted back the words, "This is what Pete Hegseth's phone looks like," and then just a picture of a phone screen, but shaking, like it was so blurry. It's like, where was that energy?
Remember when that man promised that he'd stop drinking if he became the Department of Defense head?
Did that not work?
I don't know if that worked so good.
This man has a serious drinking problem.
I mean, he's also probably an idiot stones cold sober, too.
Oh, I mean, that's without question. I was just mentioning it.
Meanwhile, Maureen.
What?
Department of Homeland Security Chief Kristi Noem had her purse stolen. She was out for dinner with her family for Easter. Okay, all these fucking people. So one of Hegseth's like main statements was at the White House Easter egg roll. So he's like doing this defensive, like coke-addled, half-drunk statement with children all behind him. J.D. Vance kills the Pope on Easter. And Kristi Noem goes out with her family for Easter and has her personal. I think these people need to just lay off Easter.
I don't know, Dan. Why? I think they're nailing it.
So she's out to dinner. She, according to her narrative, she felt what she thought was one of her grandchildren brush her leg.
She has grandchildren?
That was my first response. I was like, I feel like she's a little young for grandchildren.
Yeah.
She's 53 years old.
Okay.
So she's on the line. Like I know some folks with grandkids. They had their kids early and their kids had kids early.
Yeah.
Turns out she got married at 21. So, you know, she's going young.
Right.
Anyway. She thinks one of her grandkids, who I would assume are rambunctious little shits.
Oh, the worst.
So they're just crawling everywhere. She just thinks that one of them brushes her leg. It turns out someone was stealing her purse.
That is a shame, but I mean, hopefully she didn't have anything too important in there, or...
Inside her purse, her Department of Homeland Security personal identity verification card that provides access to secure agency buildings, also credit cards, blank checks, her passport, driver's license, a set of keys, and $3,000 in cash.
Can you read that again?
Yes. Her keys. I get that.
Yep.
Sure. Credit cards.
Yes.
Why not? Blank checks.
Okay.
Her DHS personal security.
I guess she needs that. Okay.
Her passport.
She's going to dinner?
With her family. And $3,000 in cash. Cash. That's $3,000 bills. I don't even know how you get $3,000 bills. That's 60 $50 bills. It's 150 20s. You can't hit a cash station and come out with fucking $3,000 in cash. I think they tap out at about 400.
So I'm still stuck on the checks for some reason.
Yeah, sure. The checks are also weird.
Were they loose blank checks or a checkbook?
I would assume it's a checkbook, right? But even that,
but I
like
mean, they
on the
say...
rare occasion that now, I'm close to Kristi Noem's age, on the rare occasion that we have to produce a check, it is like a fucking
production
Keystone Cops episode running around our house trying to figure out where the fucking checks are.
Do you want to make an English person laugh? Tell them that you have an actual checkbook.
I mean...
They're like, what do you mean?
The the teen, again, almost soon not a teen, needed a check for something. And it was like, even trying to explain what that meant, let alone how he could get one,
Mm-hmm.
and then what he would do with it, was just like, this is the old magics. But she's walking around, the Department of Homeland Security chief, walking around with a checkbook.
A checkbook, her passport.
Her passport
What's
is
going on?
real weird.
Like, what's she doing?
And
What does she do?
$3,000 in cash. This is her go bag. She was ready at a moment's notice to fucking flee the country. That's a more reasonable explanation than the one that the Department of Homeland Security gave after being asked, why does she have $3,000 in cash in her bag? They said, quote, her entire family was in town, including her children and grandchildren. She was using the withdrawal to treat her family to dinner, activities, and Easter gifts.
And what was she going to do? Give her one of her kids the passport as a gift? Have grandma's passport?
Yeah, it's fun. Look, it's grandma with her old face.
Do you think these people are ready at a moment's notice for like everything to fall apart? And
I mean, yes. Now, yes. Because I do not understand why, like, that explanation makes no sense. What are they paying? They're paying for dinner in cash?
I don't think so.
They're doing their activities in cash?
No.
She's handing out, I mean, like, the best I can guess is like, okay, I think she has 3 kids. So maybe she was like, I'm giving each kid $1,000 in cash. But even that's weird.
Yeah, they don't even understand cash.
Right. Like, here's a bunch of money that, like, so last summer, I was woken up by the doorbell ringing. And it was our neighbor who had been trying to clean his gutters and fell off the ladder and over our fence and landed in our backyard. Amazingly didn't die. Did break our fence. Like, that, he broke the top off our fence. And so he, with his adrenaline just pumping through his body, was like, I'm fine. But I broke your fence, but I'm fine. I'm like, okay, you don't seem fine. He's like, I broke your fence. I'll pay you back. Just tell me how much it is. I'm like, okay, mostly I'm concerned about you. But later on, we got a fence guy, and the guy was like, it's $150, and he came and he did it. And then the neighbor came over and gave me $150 in cash, in 50s. Do you know what I still have? $150 in cash in 50s, because I don't know what the fuck to do with that.
I bought my parents
Not walking
groceries.
into a place with a 50.
I bought my parents groceries during COVID, and when I went down, like, my mom knew I wasn't cashing her checks.
Yeah.
So she just started giving me cash back for the groceries. She's like, I have to pay you back. So I ended up with all this cash money for a while.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was hundreds and stuff. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so eventually I took it to the bank and I tried to insert it into an ATM to deposit it.
Yeah.
And the ATM ate it and died.
Perfect.
Remember this? I put $3,000 into the ATM and the ATM was like, and it took the money and then it was out of service.
Yeah.
And then I had to have many conversations with the bank. Like, I literally just put that much money into that machine and it died. And they're like, well,
Did you get the money back?
They had to wait until the machine got reckoned. Like, they have to come and count it.
Yeah.
And they're like, call back the next day. So when we count the money in the machine, we can see that the money was in there. And I did. But it was a sinking feeling to try to deposit that money. And then the machine just was like, thank you. It just accepted it. Like, thanks. Bye.
Even if this was $100 bills, 30 bills is a stack.
Yeah.
And anything else is like unwieldy. I mean, 30 bills is unwieldy, but like, she's walking around with 60 50s in a fucking purse? None of it makes sense. I have additional questions about this, Maureen. So was somebody just cruising the restaurant stealing purses,
I mean-
or was she singled out?
I mean, someone could have been, but if you get seen taking $3,000 out of a ATM, like you could get. Do we know what this was? Was it like a Chipotle or is it like a fancy place? Like where was
It was called like a DC burger or something. I would imagine it was a sort of upscale,
But it was a burger, like upscale burgers.
like an upscale grill. I would assume. Yeah.
But not like the fanciest place if it's got burger in the name.
Right.
It wasn't like La Fancy Le Frog.
Right. It was not. Yeah. It was not. Michelin starred or whatever.
Le Fancy Le Frog.
So, like, was this somebody being like, oh, there's good money in that purse, or was it something else? We don't know. Doesn't seem as if they're really pursuing that. Also, does the Department of Homeland Security chief not have security? Is she just going out to dinner solo?
Oh, no, she's taking all of her grandchildren to Lele Burger and
Right.
getting all with her passport and a bunch of cash. Like she's living the runaway cocaine dreams of a Jimmy Buffett song and is about to like hop on a fast boat to Miami and then from there to Cuba. You can't do it with that money, but you can do it with the blank check to get some more money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. But I don't, every part of this makes no sense to me.
Dan, as America falls apart,
yeah,
I've had many conversations with friends this week about that. Like checking in with them. I had a really tough conversation with one of my closest friends about how basically the entire structure of support services in general is about to be destroyed.
Yeah, for real.
Like nonprofits, like all of these things are about to get the hammer.
Yeah.
That provides
Big
so
time.
much essential work.
Yeah.
As we said, like truly we are now starting to report from like we're Mad Maxy kind of a, or the smoldering weird wreck of a city. We're sitting there with our little microphones.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does feel like, remember we used to make jokes about the first administration about how the press people, like all of Trump's press people must be so embarrassed that they always had a go bag.
Yeah.
This
now we know it's true.
What are they afraid is going to happen? Armed insurrection?
I mean,
they're doing that. They're doing that.
Yeah. I mean, they're paranoid enough that I wouldn't be surprised if they're all walking around with go bags ready.
I'm amazed that there wasn't a gun in there.
That is a truly remarkable thing, actually.
And maybe there was that it wasn't reported, but
yeah, they're just like, we're going to leave that one out.
Although they would have no trouble reporting that they were carrying them, but still, it's not like they're going to get in trouble for it.
No, they're not. Definitely not. But again, are there not? Well, I would think the head of the Department of Homeland Security has security.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a big deal. The FBI, do you want to know the wildest fucking thing about this administration, Maureen?
What?
Somehow, the FBI is headed by Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, or however you say his fucking name, and we don't even talk about it. It's like doesn't even register. Two complete fucking nutbags are in charge of the FBI, and it doesn't measure up to, I don't know, the vice president killing the Pope? But anyway, there was a controversy when Dan Bongino, or however you say his name, I don't give a fuck enough to know.
Doesn't matter.
His name. Apparently, the number 2 at the FBI very famously does not have security. I don't know why, but that's like the tradition. The tradition is the security's on the main guy, not the second guy. And now the second, like he was like, I need security.
Where's the Drizz, by the way?
You know what? Every now and then I ask myself that question. I'm like, certainly the Drizz has been fired now. And I've found no reports that the Drizz has been fired.
Maybe he's out there somewhere. Maybe he stole her purse. Maybe he tried to save the Pope.
He jumped in front. No.
Maybe he stopped it the first time. He's like, oh, I saved him.
Could have. Yeah.
And then Vance broke through. He's like, I broke that trophy. Now I got to go to Rome. I'm so embarrassed. These are wild times.
The Pope on Easter Sunday.
These are fucking weird times, Dad.
They're extremely. He killed the Pope on Easter Sunday.
I don't know what to tell you.
Meanwhile, Maureen.
Meanwhile,
the Trump administration's insistence that they can snatch people off the street, give them no trial, and ship them to a gulag in El Salvador is turning out to be an unpopular stance. The Supreme Court issued a post-midnight order for them to stop rendition flights from Texas, and multiple people on the right, including New York Times columnist David Brooks, who wrote a column so fucking wild about how we need to rise up. Literally, the final sentence of David Brooks's column is, the only thing we have to lose are our chains.
I gotta put my head down.
So you have that. And you have Joe Rogan, of all people, speaking out against just snatching people off the streets. So it's not a popular place for them to be, but perhaps the biggest surprise of all came last week when Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen, a man that most people outside of Maryland had never heard of until this moment, announced that he was going to El Salvador to meet with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was snatched from Maryland. Felt like a trip that was not going to result in success, especially because the same day, or maybe it was the day before he left, Trump met with El Salvador President Nayib Bukele at the White House, where both of them insisted that no one was ever leaving. Van Hollen goes down. He meets with the vice president. He does not meet with the president. He then tries to go to the prison where he is turned around by soldiers in the street. Goes back to his hotel. He assumes that he's heading home, when suddenly he's told that Kilmar would be brought to the hotel for a meeting. And there, in street clothes, was in fact Kilmar, out of prison, at least temporarily. It's a little bit confusing because we have been told repeatedly that he is in this CCOT facility, this like insane jail that was built. And in fact, the administration, who have been supposed to be giving a district judge daily updates on their attempts to get this man back. And every one of those daily updates has basically been them just going up to a Xerox machine and making a copy of their ass and turning it in. One of the few things that they did actually say is that he is in this CCOT facility. Well, Van Hollen meets with him and he says he was moved from CCOT 9 days ago to a less intense prison. So we still don't know what the fuck that's about. But this is the main thing. This whole fucking fascist apparatus blinked. He's not back, right? There's still lots of work to do. There's still a whole fuck ton of people in that jail that seem like they shouldn't be in any jail, let alone one in fucking El Salvador. But this whole apparatus blinked. And if they can blink, that means they can blink again.
Yes.
Absolutely did not think that that was going to happen.
They are not Legion.
No.
They are a couple of idiots. And as long as that's remembered, they're very, very scary, destructive, evil people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But they're not without number.
Yeah. Yeah. And they are doing increasingly unpopular things to every possible corner of society
Yes.
in a way that feels deeply unsustainable right now.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't break everything and then expect to get stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. This week, I feel like they showed their whole ass in every possible. They killed the Pope.
I mean, it was they had
JD Vance
Yeah.
met the Pope.
Yeah.
And then the Pope died. That is a thing that happened in that order, in short order. Wasn't like, JD Vance met the Pope and a week later the Pope died. Even then, I think we would make hay of it. It was hours.
Yeah. Those things were related.
He met that man.
Mm-hmm.
And he died.
Yes. So what Trump wanted, it wasn't a vice president he could kill. It was a vice president who could kill.
Yeah.
The real vice president is the killer we meet along the way.
Killed that man.
It's really something.
That poor old man.
Imagine
met JD Vance and died.
On your last day on Earth, you got to talk to JD Vance.
On the holiest day of the Catholic
On the
calendar.
holiest day of your calendar in your religion. On your last day on Earth. In your last hours.
In your last hours.
In your last hours. Because how soon after meeting did he have the stroke? Because he died 7 hours later, right?
Right. Yeah. Great question. I don't think we have a minute by minute TikTok at this point of what happened at what point in what order.
Okay, let's see here. No, I don't want that. Let's see here.
I just don't think I did a little bit of looking to see if I could get a better timeline. I don't think a timeline exists.
So he technically died on Monday morning. On the 21st.
Well, Monday morning, yes. But I think it was Monday morning.
It was 7 a.m.
time.
It was 7 a.m. in local time.
So that would be just around midnight.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
He met that man and then he died.
Let's see here.
Died. He met that man and then he had a stroke. And he fell into a coma. And then his heart stopped.
He had, let's see here. He spoke to the crowd. And then rested on Sunday afternoon, had a quiet dinner.
Yeah. Talked to the church in Gaza.
Yeah, it doesn't actually say.
And then died.
Yeah.
He met JD Vance.
I mean, Dan, we have to.
And he died.
We can't.
He died on Easter.
Yeah.
After meeting JD Vance, he died.
Says Who is brought to you by avoiding JD Vance.
And also by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho, our Patreon, where pretty much every Sunday you get this thing all over again. If you give it the $5 or $10 a month level, that $10 a month level also gets you a sticker in the mail. Because you become a member of the Says Who Sticker Club. All of that's available to you at patreon.com/sayswho. Our theme music is performed by Ted Leo. Ted Leo is currently out on the road touring with the Gang of Four on their final farewell tour. If you want to go have a good time, go see that. Our logo was designed by Darth. You can contact us at sayswhopodcast.com on Blue Sky, at sayswho at omfg.town on Mastodon. You can always email at hey, at sayswhopodcast.com. You can join the discussion on Facebook at /group/sayswhovians. Our Facebook group is moderated by Janice Dillard. Thank you, Janice. If you want to join the fan-run Discord server, you can always go to tinyurl.com/sayswhodiscord. Whatever you do, spread the word, subscribe, leave stars and reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever it is that you listen. And you can join us next Wednesday, April 30th, for our very next episode. I just want to paint a scenario for you, Maureen.
All right.
Okay, imagine that you met with someone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, you're not even someone that you pursued actively. Imagine that you met with like a reader.
Mm-hmm.
And then you found out 7 hours later they died.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened with J.D. Vance and the Pope. But it's not imaginary. It's actually what happened. If that happened to me, I'd feel real bad.
I mean, Vance has breached containment is the problem. So
he died.
The vibes are so bad with that man.
He met the Pope. And the Pope died.
From my office in New York City, I'm Maureen Johnson.
And from my basement in Chicago, I am Dan Sinker. This has been Says Who.
I guess we'll see who dies next week.
He killed that man.
You stay away from him. You stay away from JD.
He killed that man.
I know. He did.
He just killed him.
Dan.
He met him and he died.
Dan, I know.
He met the Pope.
You got to hit stop.
And the Pope died. He died.
Okay, we got it. We just...
He died. The Pope is dead because he met J.D. Vance.
Dan, I feel like I'm descending into madness. This is like the Webby Awards thing again.